Hi, I'm Tim Roehl. Welcome to our church multiplication experience. We're going to have a great time together. You say, Tim, it looks like you're sitting outside on your deck. I hear noise in the background and traffic and things going on. Well, I am sitting on my back deck because this is part of my mission field. Your mission field always begins with your own family and the neighborhood where God places you, and then ultimately will take you to the ends of the earth. So as we're discovering what God has in mind for the mission fields He's placed us in, a class like ours on church multiplication, which really is focusing on multiplying disciples and leaders and churches, become part of the great movement of God in our world today, is a wonderful opportunity for us. We'll learn each other's stories. We'll learn how to bring God's story, His great redemptive, saving, life-giving story to people around us, and learn some of the practical and important ways that we're going to be able to multiply that through our lives and through the lives of others. So a bit about my story. I grew up in the town of Sleepy Eye, Minnesota, which you may remember from Little House on the Prairie books and TV show. Was part of starting a new church as a teenager in my small town, which I didn't realize then, but was part of God's fingerprints on my destiny. And you're going to look back on your own story and find how God's fingerprints are on your story for what you're doing now and what He's calling you to in the future. Went to Bible college after a call to ministry as a teenager, met my wonderful wife Shirley. We have two daughters, Aubrey, who's got beautiful red hair like her mom Shirley, our daughter Elise. Both are married, Aubrey to Dylan, and they have two sons, Ian and Xavier, and Elise to Tim. They're active in ministry too. In fact, Aubrey and Dylan have been planting a church in Dylan's hometown of Marshalltown, Iowa, just these last 2 years. I'm finding God's calling people home in beautiful ways as missionaries in these days. It's remarkable. From Bible college, our first church was a church that was almost ready to close, and we went to the heart of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so two small town kids into the heart of a big city. In over 10 years, God allowed us to reach lots of people, and that church flourished and thrived in the neighborhood and beyond. I was doing missional ministry in those days, just didn't know what to call it. Planted another church in a nursing home nearby, did ministry in other environments. You'll see again how God's prepared you to where you are. From there, God began to speak to me about planting a church, and the entire church planting library at that time was about this big, 3 or 4 books. And we didn't know much in those days. We knew very little about ministry assessing, about how to fit and flourish in ministry, about coaching, about church planting training. All those were new. Yet we followed God into the mission field here in suburban Minneapolis and planted our home church of Christ Life. And so we spent 10 years doing ministry in a different mission field, learning new ways to bring Jesus to people. Methods may change, but the message never does. From there, the Lord allowed me to join a great mission agency and work with apostolic leaders who were in multiplying disciples and leaders in their context. So I got to serve many different denominations and groups and many different leaders from different nations around the world. It was a thrilling time of learning and growing. Over the course of time, we've had opportunity to be part of leadership teams in 2 denominations and another mission agency. So He's taken us from our day of small beginnings, like it says in Zechariah, and then you never know what God might do over the course of our journey with Him. Now, this class is going to be an opportunity for us to learn together about what's happening in church multiplication, disciple making in our day. We're going to look at disciple making from 3 main vantage points. We're going to learn some of the essentials, the practical skills that I've learned to apply as I coach and train church planters and movement leaders, so that you can apply what you're learning right to where you are in making disciples. We're going to learn each other's stories. We're going to learn how to encourage each other and resource and equip each other better for the journey. But most of all, the most important thing we'll realize from this is how God walks with us, puts His hand on us, leads us, and then gives us a distinct joy of seeing us being part of His redemptive story and changed lives. So let's go on the journey together and see what He has in mind.